right, here we go. Back at it again. It's your boy DJ with the one and only Josh Throne. Everybody, welcome into 4th and 5. Man, Josh, I would say for the most part, we're going to hop right into it. LSU, I was surprised with how the Hogs played. What are your thoughts real quick?
Man, LSU 34, Arkansas 31. If I would have told you that score prior to the game, you probably wouldn't have believed me. I mean, history says, the Arkansas LSU games are always tight, but I didn't think it was going to be that tight. So, going down into Death Valley, leaving like that, I wasn't embarrassed. I mean, I was upset. Obviously, I wanted to win, but wasn't embarrassed, which was nice.
I would say that's the biggest difference between Sam Pittman era and Chad Morris era. Chad Morris era, when the team had a loss like we had against BYU, mentally they just were not able to bounce back. And then from that point on, even in a loss, they just didn't even look like they belonged on the football field. Not the same case with Sam Pittman. And you look at the biggest thing, Josh. You know me, I was on that offensive line all week,
right?
As I should have been. I mean, because the tape speaks for itself. And I even said right here on this podcast, hey, if y'all see this, get mad, be pissed. You have a decision to make. Are you going to take that and fold? Or are you going to look at the tape, look in the mirror, and do something about it? And, man, they did something about it. They got great push up front, and it wasn't against no pity-pat team either. LSU known for their defense and defensive front. And so very, I would say, encouraging to see as far as the Arkansas program. Still, Josh, we still got a tough gauntlet. We could still potentially lose 4 more games in a row.
I know the schedule is the scariest thing about it. Just continue to look forward down the line and what you have coming week after next. I mean, we don't get back to home field against Mississippi State, I think, until like October November, something like that. Yeah. We spent a long time. So my question is, though, I mean, obviously offensive line came out, played completely different. Everything that we wanted to see from them against LSU. I think we saw there were still some mistakes. There were still some issues, some really crucial false starts, especially when we're into the red zone. Couple touchdowns that got called back that you're going like, oh my gosh, if we could have had those, would that have been something, Yeah. But I think it came down to the quarterback play. Both of those guys are next level college quarterbacks. I mean, it's hard to stop them. There was tons of times where I'm looking at our defense going, we called the right play. That should be a coverage sack. But this guy still beats our defense around the edge, gets a first down. And then, here we go with KJ Jefferson. He gets the ball, and he's doing a lot of the same thing. So I love the back and forth of it. It was definitely like a retro Arkansas LSU game. What do you think about their quarterback? What do you think about the way he stacked up against KJ?
I mean, tales of two halves. First half, no one could barely even get on the board. And, they made the adjustments. And I think the quarterback settled in and kind of got in a groove where I would say Daniels from LSU, there was a few times the LSU receivers had the defensive backs for Arkansas beat. The ball was just slightly underthrown. Second half, completely different story. I mean, there was that one touchdown to number 8. First of all, number 8, what's his name? I feel bad because I need to put some respect on his. Yes, he's the truth. 6 foot. Mm-hmm. He kind of reminds me of like an Antonio Brown type player. Great hands, very aggressive, physical. But Daniels put the ball right in the money on a lot of those touchdowns to him, right over the top of some defenders. But I would say once he got settled in, it was very tough to contain him because he's very easily could get outside the pocket, Josh. Pick up 3 to 4, 5 yards, and that's just keeping the ball moving, keeping the plays and drives alive. And it was very fascinating because I was up there just yelling, like, why are we still in man-to-man coverage, no help over the top? I saw it all the time. They would line up, and I said, oh, they're man-to-man. Here goes 8. Threw it to them every single time. So how come coaches don't see that? How come they don't make adjustments? Well, the thing is, when you have a quarterback like Daniels, it's just like you have to pick your poison. Like, are we going to trust our DBs and hopefully he misses over the top and we bring an extra person in the box to kind of help as a QB spy and try to contain him? Or do we, drop back in coverage as we did in the second half? And that's when you started seeing that run game pick up for LSU. So when you have a team that's as balanced as LSU, man, it's just tough. You have to have some dudes on your defensive line and able to combat that and just shut everything down up front.
Well, speaking of that, I want to go back to the first quarter or the first few drives that we end up without touchdowns. I mean, you look at the score and it's 6-0, and you're going, it should be 14-0 right now.
Man.
The my issue with it is this. I was looking at our receivers on the depth chart because when I saw them out on the field, they had this just a sick pan of our offensive going up to the line. And I'm looking, I'm like, God, our offensive line is huge. They're a lot bigger than what I even remember seeing them not too long ago. I don't know, something about being in Death Valley at night. They just look like giants. And then it spreads out to our receivers. And for the first time in a long time, I'm looking at our receivers like these guys size-wise are matching up against LSU DBs.
Yeah.
Which is tripping me out. I'm typically not used to seeing that. So when we're down in the red zone and we got a guy that's 6'7", and he scores, you can just throw the ball over the top to him. Why do you not just go, listen, we're just going to go over to the top, hit the back corner pylon, and throw the ball up and let him catch it? Why is that not just a no-brainer go-to play? We know when we're in this situation, that's what we're going to do. What do you think the decision-making issue is there?
Sorry if you can hear that dog barking in the background. I got a couple I got a couple guard dogs here. We keep it real here on 4th and 5, and people show up to the house, so I had to up the security here. But the guy, 6'7", I get it. It would just make sense to throw him a jump ball. I think he's still learning. I think he's still developing. I still don't think he has that, no pun intended, dog in him yet to go up and really make a play and be physical. I mean,
he's a transfer from Bowling Green. From Bowling Green.
I've played with guys all the time that have all the tools, the height, the size, the strength. It's just difficult to kind of have that extra edge and that special ability to track balls located in air and just be a sure target. But, I mean, you saw what he did when he had that touchdown at the back of the end zone. So maybe it's there. Maybe they need to go to him more. But, yes, you would love to see that option in the red zone, especially when LSU crowds the box and they give you the option to throw it. It'd be nice to throw it a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, we come up short on 2 touchdowns. I think that's where the game is won or lost, is those moments where you have LSU and they're back against the wall and you're like, hey, we're going to go into half, and this can be huge momentum for us if we can go ahead and punch 2 touchdowns in, go in. I guess at that point it would have been 14-3 going in at half. Well, actually, at the very end of the half, with 48 seconds left on the clock, LSU gets the ball, scores within 18 seconds, gives it right back to us with 30 seconds left in half. Yeah. Then they come out at the beginning of the third quarter, and within 1 minute, put another touchdown on the board. And you're wishing that we could have those red zone possessions back, hopefully get on the board. So I think that you saw a lot. I mean, at the end of the day, you're in a game, you're in Death Valley, it's nighttime. It's, we're coming off of the BYU game. I think if anything, this LSU game made me look back at the BYU game and go, where was this team when we were playing BYU last week? And what team are we going to see against Texas A&M?
The team we're going to see, I guess we'll see. Before we move on to Texas A&M, Josh, you brought up a really interesting point, a big talker that a lot of people are talking about. You talked about the time management, clock control.
Right.
I'm sure you were watching the game like, oh, we're going to need those timeouts. Or, well, what are we doing in this situation? And that was I'm just curious, when you were watching the game, what did you think about clock management?
I'm going to be honest with you. By the time it was third quarter, I'd already been at the lake. I'd already been to Wright's Barbecue. It'd been a long day. So by the time we got to fourth quarter and I realized that we were out of timeouts, my mind was blown. I was trying to figure out how we got rid of these timeouts and at what point in time did we even call a timeout. But I had to go back and rewatch the game last night.
Yeah, so the time and the decision, like you said, we can't settle for field goals. I mean, they played the game right. Coaching was great. Great play calls. You got to see Dan stepping back up into a good groove, and that helps when your offensive line is getting the push that they did. Once again, I'm just going to continue to praise the offensive line because they got a lot of heat last week, and it was deserved. But, man, they responded. But that clock management, Joshua, I'll help you recap since you had a little Wright's Barbecue. Hopefully Jordan Wright is watching. They're in Little Rock now, so maybe we can have some Wrights here on 4th and 5, and we can try out some good burn-ins and stuff they got going. Yes, that's just shameless plug right there, Jordan. But so they called a timeout. I remember them. One of them was like on a 3rd and 16. Another one was on a 2nd and 20. And another one was right before that fake field goal. And yes, it's hard not to think 3rd and 16 in a game where it's shaping up the way that it is, and you know that timeout's going to be valuable. Just
That's
take
right.
the penalty. Just take the penalty. Unless you're really that optimistic about picking up 16 yards on a 3rd and 16. Another one on that 2nd and 20, kind of the same case. Now, so be it. I think the very next play we picked up about 15 yards, so it was very useful, I guess. And then the other one that I have the biggest problem with, and this is the only one that I said this was poor clock management and coaches should know better. It was before that fake field goal, and they were in that territory of, are we in Cam's range? We're pushing it. We're too close to kind of punt. I would call this 4-down territory, and I think any coach at that level, they should know that before the 3rd down play is even called. So there's no question, so it's if we get it or not, we already know what the next play is instead of wasting time thinking, getting in the play, and then burning a timeout. That's the only problem that I saw as far as that was. You should be prepared in that situation as far as the coaching staff is concerned. Now, we did ended up, using that timeout, and we got that fake field goal. It was a great execution, but once again, red zone, we struggled.
Right.
Weren't able to punch it in. Ended up settling for a field goal anyway, but that was a timeout that we could have had, and if they were going to go with that fake, Josh, they should have known that on the 3rd down play. Hey, just in case we don't get this, field goal team, get ready. We already know what's happening. Stuff like that happens in practice. I think I never really paid attention to that as much in college. I don't think we really practice these random, not likely to pop up scenarios. But when I was in New England, that's why Bill Belichick has been so brilliant for all these years. He let his coaches coach. He trusted his staff. He had his philosophy, but he was so just on it when it came to, I will be prepared for any situation. 4th and 2, 13 seconds on the clock. What should we do if there's no timeouts and the game's not, like all these things? I'd be like, that would never come up in a game. And sure enough, they did. And the Patriots were always prepared, never wasted time. And you kind of take advantage of teams that don't prepare for those little things like that. So hopefully the coaches learn from that and move forward.
Yeah, well, Brian Kelly put on a masterclass. I mean, it's always nice when you can just run the clock out and kick a field goal in and look over at the other sideline, knowing that you got the game in the bag. So I know that they were kicking themselves in the butt for that, and it's tough. I want to go back to the game a little bit because there's a couple guys that I wanted to touch on. One, your tight end, Luke Haas.
Yeah,
Obviously, he made a big name for himself in the SEC. I'm surprised he didn't end up as a SEC Freshman of the Week. Somehow they passed up on him with over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'm not sure who got it, but I was told he didn't get it, which blew my mind.
Yeah.
And then I'm still wondering, where is Isaiah Satega at? He's a guy that should be getting involved in the offense. We didn't see him against LSU, and he's a guy that can make a play at any moment. So take me back through you watching Luke. What were you so surprised to see out of him this game, or were you surprised at all? And what do you think that we should be able to see moving forward with him?
I love Luke, and like I said, I got to know him while he was in high school, making sure we put a hog on his helmet. I know that, but I would say his composure in the moment. There was one play. Oh man, I think it was after he jumped off sides. And I get Death Valley's loud. Tight ends, I think, is the hardest because you're the furthest away from the ball. You can't see it in your peripheral vision. And so when, KJ's going through his cadence, and like the D-line, they were shifting a lot really quick, trying to get the offensive line to jump off sides. I'm sure it's a home field advantage thing. So it happened to them. The freshmen usually would put their head down, feel sorry for themselves. But the guy from LSU, who's about like 6'9", was chirping at him like this, chirping at him. And Luke, I mean, he a dog. He got up in his face. I don't know what he was saying, but it was like, I was like, freshman didn't even back down. He was kind of like, man, I love stuff like that. He's got a dog in him. So very excited for his future. Always ready to make a play. His willingness to be physical in the run game is awesome. I just can't wait till year 2, year 3. I mean, he's going to be first-round talent. He kind of reminds me of a Greg Olsen from Miami.
Yeah.
Fast, great hands, physical, understands the game. Sky's the limit for Luke Haas. And as far as Isaiah, you told me something how you felt there were different ways to get the ball in his hands. And, I'll go ahead and say it because I've been I didn't even think about this, when it comes to you compare it to how they got Joe Adams the ball back in college.
Right. Yeah, I think that every time you get a guy like that on the field, you got to figure out creative ways to get him the ball. So I'm just assuming that the reason why he's not out there at receiver is maybe because we've got a bunch of these big, older receivers, maybe a little bit more experienced. Maybe they've shown they've got better hands. I don't know that. I'm not actually saying that the kid doesn't have good hands. I haven't seen it. I'm just assuming that's why we're not seeing him on the field, because it's definitely not for route running ability or speed. So yeah, we dealt with situations like that back in the Petrino days where we had so much talent on the field that we had to figure out ways to get guys the ball. Well, I remember a very specific game where we were playing Auburn and we lined Joe up at halfback. Did a halfback toss to the left. He hurdles a guy, takes one like 92 yards for a touchdown.
Took it to the crib.
He doesn't see the ball again. He doesn't see the ball again for the whole game. Maybe we threw it to him one other time. I'm pretty sure I remember that he didn't end up with another touch for the entire game.
Yep.
Yeah, we had a lot of playmakers on the team. And so there's a lot of reasons why we could say, oh, well, we still won that game and we delivered the ball around the field and whatnot. But when you got guys like that, you got to figure out ways to get them the ball in space. So I'm just itching to see us try to get this kid involved, get him the ball in space with a quick route out to the side, let these big receivers go block for him, and watch plays be made. This kid has it written all over him. He's already done it from the punt return and kick returning position. So let's just get him the ball quick, make it easy on his hands, and let's let him do what he needs to do.
Yeah, he also brings another element, Josh, before we move on to A&M, of keeping the defense honest. I mean, first of all, Armstrong, Tesla, they have amazing hands. I mean, they're going to run great routes. They're going to catch the ball in traffic, contested catches, amazing hands. Like how those guys slip through the cracks last year blows my mind. But when you have a guy like Isaiah Satania on the field who's probably always going to be the fastest guy on the field, get this dog just chirping over. Yeah, I see him barking in the background. Dax, get on now. Yeah,
that ain't your dog. I know that ain't your dog.
That's my girl dog. See, my dog
exactly.
My dog don't be yapping like that. Yeah,
she ain't got her. She didn't tell her to get a dog to get her act right.
Yeah, I think I'm about to get in trouble. But a guy like Isaiah, the fastest guy always on the field when he's on it, he has to keep safeties honest. Like just use him to run deep and make sure you open up the whole playbook. Because if you ever catch him slipping, I mean, he's a home run ball. We really haven't had that huge, big play down the field, 60-yard pass, type thing. And I think he would bring that element to the game. All right, let's go ahead and talk about these Aggies real quick. Not much. We still got all week to kind of talk about the Aggies game, Bobby Petrino and all that stuff. But let's go ahead and move on.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about them yet because I haven't done a lot of homework right now. I was wanting to take a look to watch this previous game that the Aggies played against Auburn and beat them pretty handedly. So here's one thing you always know about Bobby Petrino. He's going to have a game plan, and he's going to come with it, and he's going to be a great play caller, and he's going to frustrate you on defense all night long. So you better have an offensive game plan to keep up with the amount of scoring he's going to try to do. Dan Enos, I'm pretty sure Dan Enos has played Bobby Petrino before. I'm almost positive he has. I think he did when he was at Alabama. I think he did when he was at Alabama. And I have to go back and look at that again. Nonetheless, they know about him, and everybody knows about him. I mean, he was in headlines. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he is going to be making. He's going to be taking shots. He's going to be Petrino of old. Offense is going to have to step up. They're going to have to be ready to play. Texas A&M has athletes. This is what I was talking to Chad Yos about at LSU. LSU has a ton of athletes that are homegrown LSU, Louisiana guys, right? And then Texas does too. These schools can pull a lot more athletes out of their home states than what Arkansas can. And I'm not knocking on Arkansas. We just don't have them by the numbers that they do. So you may not know the guys that are on this field, but rest assured, they're some of the best all over the country, and they're pulling from one of the best pools to pull from is that Texas-Louisiana belt. So you're going to get tons of athletes, and they're going to be highly talented, and they're going to be well coached on their Petrino offense. So that's about all I got for you right now, looking out for this game. If we can be the Arkansas that played LSU, we have a chance at winning that game. I'm interested to see what happens. I don't know yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm there with you. I don't know a lot either. That's going to be my goal for the week. I'm going to reach out to their sports information guy, see if we can get Bobby Petrino on 4th and 5. throughout the week.
I'll
That'll
call
be a
him.
tough task. That'll be a tough task. We'll see what we can do if that happens. That'd be amazing. So that's all we got. We'll talk more about A&M a little bit later in the week. But real quick, let's go ahead and do our new favorite segment, Out of Bounds with Josh Throne. I want to just ask you about this. We talk about sports. We talk about football here. I want to know your thoughts. It's all what people are talking about right now. Travis Kelce, T. Swift. I need to know your quick initial thoughts. Come on, hit me with it, Josh. Come on.
I was hoping that we were going to talk about, like, the mean tweets that Sam Pittman's been getting recently, and maybe we could touch on that. I was hoping you were going to go somewhere. I didn't know you were going to go Travis Kelce,
This
Taylor
is
Swift.
what everybody's talking about. What
mean,
are your first initial thoughts?
I don't make any. My first initial thing is it's a PR move. I don't think either one of those people are serious about each other. I don't think they're at a time and a place in life where they're trying to be serious.
Before you go, I heard somebody say that today. PR move.
We're talking about it on our podcast.
I don't get it. I would say for anyone else, I get it. But you're talking about Travis Kelce, probably one of the top 5 most popular players in sports, period.
Yeah.
And then you have Taylor Swift, arguably the most popular person on the planet. Like, they don't need any publicity. So I don't think it's a stunt to help each other's career or anything like that. Like, if it were anyone else, but those two, they don't need it. They're already there,
Listen,
so I don't think it's a PR thing. I don't know what goes into PR, dude. I'm on the 4th and 5 podcast. Okay. I don't know. All I know is that it don't make any sense. We both know he's not serious about Taylor Swift. And we both know Taylor Swift ain't serious about Travis Kelce. No.
Come on.
I know
what are we talking about?
I agree, and I know what you're saying. I just want you to say it. Come on, say it.
I'm not saying it. But I know it. I know it. He ain't serious about her. We know what Travis Kelce got going on. There ain't no Taylor Swift.
I'll say it.
No, don't say it.
No, I'm gonna say it. Because I know his boys are saying. I know, like, I think it's fun. I think they are actually serious about it. But at some point, the Travis Kelce that I believe he is, how do I say this? I would say Travis Kelce.
He's a dog. He's for the streets. That's how you say it. That's how you say it.
I mean, I would say, like, I would say he's light skinned. He a brother. You know what I mean? And no doubt about it. I know his vibe. And, like, you know how some people say, like, oh, that person, the white guy acts black. Travis Kelce ain't acting. That's him. He got the culture. He's down. He's smooth. He's the type that would probably want to be, hey, Tay, let's go link up with the boys. Let's go pick up these drinks. Let's play some spades. Maybe play some bones. That's just his vibe. And I saw
that.
And I saw a picture of them, I think, in his car leaving. And the first thing I thought, what are they listening to on the radio? And I can see Travis Kelce, what he would be listening to. And I don't want to judge anybody. I don't know Taylor Swift like that. I want to reach out to some Swifties and really get a deeper dive into it. But I just feel like his playlist is going to be a little bit different than T Swift. Unless it's a side of T Swift we don't know.
Well, listen, let me tell you this. I actually just figured out what's going on here. She's looking for new content. She wants her heart broke again. That's what she wants. And she's going to be able to write songs about this. I mean, if you think about it, all her songs are love stories. She's either falling in love, she's falling out of love, right? And so she's looking to get her heart broke because when a guy breaks up with her or does her dirty, it just sends her next album platinum, baby. That's what it does. So she picked the one guy. She picked the one guy she knew. She was like, if there's any guy in this world that'll take me and date me and just completely break my heart, it's Travis Kelce. That's who's gonna do it.
Because I really do think she likes him. I mean, dude, he's smooth. He's smooth and likable, and I get it. But I hope who knows? One day they may be watching, right? Travis. You watching this?
Wish you the best.
I do wish you the best, and I hope it works. But, dog, come on now, like.
All right. Hey, listen, I want to take this back to Razorback football real quick because I did want to talk about the tweets. Before we go, I want to talk about the tweets.
You got to be quick. I got Monday Night Football. We got to be quick.
Okay, I got you real quick because, listen, if you don't know about this yet, Coach Pittman deleted his Twitter or just signed out of it, deactivated it, made it kind of hidden from everybody. He basically said that he was doing that because people talk too much, and he don't come from a time in this world where people can just get on Twitter and start saying things without having to be face to face with you, or they'll just say things behind the keyboard that they wouldn't say to you, and then just making it personal. He's like, you can come at me about my coaching, you can come at me about my record, you can come at me all this, but you start coming about me personally, my players personally, it just got too much for him, or he just got annoyed with it and said, I just don't even let this in my life. So he deleted it. Now we all know he's going to come back on it because you, as the coach at the University of Arkansas, recruiting matters. You got to be on Twitter. You got to be having that presence, and it's just a PR thing. So he already said that his guy said he's coming back with one, or he's going to make him do it. But all that bringing up that brought up the topic. People are so bold now. And this is twofold. Okay, people are so bold now that they will literally say things that they would be shivering in their boots to say in front of you, but they'll say it behind a computer screen real quick. They'll go personal with you. They'll do all types of stuff with you. So, so there's one part of you that's going, okay, well, if I'm DJ Williams and I got people that are coming at me over my opinions or whatever I got going on Twitter, and they want to say something to me, when you see them in real life, do you check them? Do you bring it up, or do you just let it roll off your back? Do you delete your Twitter? Do you delete your Twitter and say, I just don't even want to let these people, have my ear anymore? What do you do?
I've dealt with that stuff. I deal with it now with being a news anchor and just the criticism of what you wear. If you gain a little weight, if you say something funny, you mispronounce something. It's just like there's someone out there watching for any kind of slip up. And like I said, they get bold. They say things. And, I work with a lot of, female coworkers, and we're side by side every day. And the things that they say to these women, I'm just like, what is wrong with these people attacking these women like that? And so I see it each and every day. And the longer you do this, the more you understand that these people are just so irrelevant. And then I'm curious, too, like what is going on in their life that makes them so passionate and determined to get that keyboard and just do all this. Sorry, I messed up my background. I just had to prove my point. And so, you have to figure out a way to move past it. And the important thing, this is what is key to, I tell a lot of people, especially young kids growing up in this era, don't get too fixated and get too high and get so affirmation from the praise, because those same people that will love you one day at the first sign of trouble will be the first ones to just take all that back and say something hateful. So if you become too dependent on the likes and getting all the praise, and that's where you get your affirmation and value, I would say by default, when the negativity comes, that's also where you get your value, and you start thinking, man, is that me? Am I that bad? Am I that horrible? So you have to figure out how to separate the truth and the reality. I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right, but it's
you're saying it right.
But yeah, so it's just very unfortunate, and I don't even pay attention, and I don't look. Sometimes if I do come across a comment and somebody comes at my head, I literally sometimes laugh and be like, dang, they kind of right. Yeah, you're right.
No, I know you do, which is I know you do, which is why I had a couple here for you, because I look for you, because I know you don't look. So I got one for you. Zachary Wall said, you were talking about the podcast, and you say, hey, listen, we're going to keep it real. We're going to be bringing, this 4th and 5 to you every single week, blah, blah, blah. He said, keeping it real, eye roll emoji, yawn. What do you have to say about that?
Hey, man, do you? I mean, that's the most fascinating part when somebody eye rolls and yawns, like you're telling us that you could care less, but you're also taking the time, energy, and effort to make sure that you tell us that you care less. So you kind of do care. So we appreciate the support, brother. You know what I mean?
Thank you, Zach. So you just proved DJ just actually proved you care. All right, how about this? I want to do another. I want to do one more. I'm going to do one when I'm done. Yeah. Johnny Simpson, DT47, FJB Simpson, said, that's BS. You're no different than the hundreds of other talking heads out there doing their podcast. Your intro simply made me dislike any opinions of Razorback football team of 2023.
God, that guy must
That was
have
long.
poor. Yeah, he must have poor taste because that intro.
And I read that.
Fire.
And I actually read that. I read that word for word.
That intro is fire. I mean, he has poor taste. I hate to say it.
Come on, Johnny Simpson.
It may not be for, hey, that's one thing. It may not be for you. Once again, I appreciate you taking the time to let us know how you feel, because it's so important to you to make sure that we know that you don't care. Once again, it's just, do you not see the hypocrisy in that? It just blows my mind sometimes.
I love it. Keep telling me how you feel because those comments help the algorithm, and I'm trying to get that reach, baby. So listen, next week on 4th and 5, or later this week on 4th and 5, I actually want to get back on with you one time at least before the week's up because I want to get your thoughts on Texas A&M before you got to go do Monday Night Football tonight. But then I also want to know, real kind of off topic but still on topic, Yurichek supposedly revealed the price tag for the corporate renaming of the Razorback Stadium. So no longer going to be Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium. And I want to know, how deep do DJ's pockets go? Because I would love to see DJ Williams Stadium. You're going to need about $3 or $4 million a year.
I'm selfless, man. At 4th and 5 stadium, baby. Stadium
4th
45.
and 5 stadium?
Ooh, Stadium 45 coming live.
I like it. We want to get y'all's thoughts. What does this stadium need to be made or need to be named? I hear you got all this corporate stuff. Please don't let it be the Walmart Stadium. I don't want to do that to us. Anyways, y'all give us your thoughts in the comments below, and we will see you later on this week for a little bit of Texas A&M update with DJ on 4th and 5. I appreciate it, man.